Hi, welcome back to our vlog, Sky Production. Hi, welcome back to our vlog, Sky Production. Okay, so on today's episode, we'll talk about Microsoft, their history, their success, achievement, any issues regarding their business. Okay, first let's watch a video about their history first.
You can't mention the word PC without thinking of Microsoft. Originating as a competitive startup in the 1970s, the company took over personal computing in the 90s.
So that's the new Windows 95 interface. Simpler, far more intuitive, not without a few problems though, but in general a great improvement.
Microsoft is now worth about $750 billion US, making it the fourth most valuable company in the world. Perhaps just as well known as the four-windowed logo is the company's philanthropist founder, Bill Gates, whose $90 billion net worth makes him the second richest person in the world. Things may look rosy now, but at one point, Bill Gates was hated by the public, and Microsoft was being sued by the US government for breaching antitrust laws. The story of Microsoft and Bill Gates is one of incredible genius, controversy, as Microsoft tried to take over the world.
Okay, so what is their biggest achievement? Okay, so Microsoft has developed three things that really influence their market. The first one is their operating system. The second one is their software, Microsoft Office, and the third one is their application, Skype. Okay, first their operating system. The first one is Windows 95. They launched with 300 million marketing campaign with people such as Jay Leno and the Rolling Stones putting their weight behind the product. The software launch was made into a cultural event long before Apple and Google came to the forefront. Okay, so everything from the start button to the style of navigation considered typically for an operating system started with Windows 95. Okay, this was the software that cemented Microsoft as the operating system for computers to be using at the time. It originally shipped with Internet Explorer only in the special Microsoft Plus package. However, all updated versions allowed for Internet Explorer to update. People had to buy service packs on this since online updates had yet to become the norm. Okay, the next one is their Microsoft Office, which is installed in almost all of the computers on Earth. Microsoft Office can be seen as initially starting with its first word processor for MS-DOS in 1983 that had two notable features. It could bold, italic and underline formatting on screen, and it worked with a mouse, things we take for granted today. Microsoft Office came into the picture as an application suite in 1990 with Word, Excel and PowerPoint. Okay, lastly, their video call application, Skype. Skype was first released back in 2003. It was acquired by eBay from eBay for 2.6 million. By the time Microsoft decided to buy, they had to pay 8.5 billion. The app was known as the primary method for video chatting and also offered messenger, file exchange, and other communications. The name comes from Sky, peer-to-peer. It was then abbreviated to Skyper, but the domain names weren't available, so the R was dropped and it became Skype. Okay, now I'm going to talk about the mode of entries and the distribution method used by Microsoft company. Okay, Microsoft entered the foreign market through licensing. Licensing essentially permitted a company in the target company to use the property of the licensor. Such property is usually tangible, such as a trademark, patent, and production technique. The licensee pays the fee in exchange for the right to use the intangible property and possibly for technical assistance as well. Because little investment on the part of the licensor is required, licensing it has the potential to provide a very large return on investment. However, because the licensee produce and market the product, potential return from manufacturing and marketing activities may be lost. Thus, licensing reduces the cost and involves limited risk. However,
It does not mitigate the substantial disadvantage associated with operating system from the distance. As a rule, licensing strategies inhibit control and produce only moderate returns. For example, certain brands of laptop like Lenovo, Acer, HP require license from Microsoft to use their operating Windows system. Okay, Microsoft has internalized many components of the manufacturing process by producing their own hardware. Microsoft falls under categories of selective distribution, which is carefully choosing multiple channels and partners. The main channels of distribution are direct selling through the internet, through agents and through retail business. Microsoft has moved to a strategy in which they create its own store where they can educate its potential customers and delivers its product directly to the customers.
Okay, I'm going to talk about the trading opportunity and trade barrier that have been faced by two host countries, which is China and United States. Okay, for China, the trade opportunity with the first one is competitiveness. China has outpaced India and many other emerging countries when it comes to nurturing the elements necessary for business growth. And number two is stability. Political and economic stability can facilitate international trade in China. And the trade barrier is number one, tariff barrier. The tariff worldwide are increasingly being imposed again against goods from China. And number two is exchange rate controls. Due to China intervening with the yuan exchange rate against the dollar, a barrier to international trade is created against Western countries. And for another host countries, which is United States, the trade opportunity, point number one is free trade agreements. The tremendous benefits have flowed from US free trade agreements, which cover 20 countries. These countries represent approximately 6% of the world's population outside the United States. And yet, last year, these markets purchased nearly half of all the United States exports, according to the United States Department of Commerce. In other words, United States free trade agreements do an outstanding job making big markets even out of small economies. And point number two is aviation and aerospace. The United States is one of the world's biggest market for aerospace, defense and space. The United States remains the highest spender on defense capability globally, with $13 million allocated in the United States 2019 budget for defense spending. And the trade barrier for the United States, point number one is tariff. On March 2018, President Trump announced that the United States will introduce a 25% import tax on steel and a 10% import tax on aluminium to protect national security. The move was interpreted by many as a safeguard against import surge, hurting local United States industries, and therefore the tax was widely assumed to be aimed at China, affecting approximately 50 billion of Chinese goods.
Although there is many opportunity from Microsoft in their host country, it also occurs that some issue may arise within the host country. The first issue is Microsoft issue security alert over cyber attack. Microsoft has alerted some of its email users of possible hacker attacks that could access their email account illegally. Media reports say, in an email notification to some affected user, Microsoft said it became aware of an issue involving unauthorized access to some customer by cyber criminal. The unauthorized access would have allowed unauthorized party to view and access of information of Microsoft email user account, such as email address, folder names, and the subject lines of email. It said, however, the software giants said the content of attack document to email would not be read or viewed. and it did not specify how many users of its Outlook.com mail service were affected. The company assured the user that it has immediately disabled the compromised crediment to prevent their use for any further unauthorized access. Microsoft has offered contact information for its data collection officer to help possible hacking victims to better protect their email account. For the second issue, Microsoft is making a very low profit in China compared to their profit from other countries around the world. It is a problem that hasn't gone away. Indeed, Microsoft's current issue in China conceals a deeper problem for the US software giant. Despite the popularity of its Windows operating system and the Office suites, few people in emerging markets are willing to pay for legitimate copies. In other words, most of them download the software illegally instead of buying and giving contribution to the profit of Microsoft.
Okay, I will continue the issue for third issue. For third issue, Microsoft being search engine inaccessible in China, social media users have expressed concern that the search engine might be the latest foreign website to be blocked by censor. Chinese authorities operate a firewall that blocks many US tech platforms, including Facebook and Twitter. Microsoft hasn't said if the outage may be due to censorship or is merely a technical problem. A BBC correspondent in China attempted to visit the site and was able to access it through a Chinese internet provider on a desktop, but not on a smartphone. Many US tech companies are keen to tap into Chinese market, but have difficult relationship with the authorities in Beijing. The government's internet censorship regime, often known as the Great Firewall, used a series of technical measures to block foreign platforms and controversial content. Okay, the next issue is the ties between Microsoft and the US military created protests by the Microsoft workers. Microsoft workers are calling on the giant tech company to cancel its nearly $480 million US Army contract, saying the deal has crossed the line into weapons development by Microsoft under the contract is designed to help people kill. In a letter to Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella and President Brett Smith, the worker also said the company is failing to inform the engineers of the intent of the software they are building. The November contract is now for what called an integrated visual augmentation system. The contract stated objective is to rapidly develop, test and manufacture a single platform that soldiers can use to fight and rehearse and train that provide increased lethality, mobility and situational awareness necessary to achieve overmatch against our current and future adversaries, the letter says. We are alarmed that Microsoft is working to provide weapons technology to the US military, helping one's country government increase lethality using tool will book the worker road. They said they didn't sign up to produce weapons. They demand the purpose of their work to be informed before. Bloomberg reported that the contract and eventually led the military to buy more than 100,000 headsets from Microsoft. The US Army and the Israeli military have already used Microsoft HoloLens devices in training, but plans for live combat will be a significant step forward, the report said. So, for the last issue, the protest of Microsoft employees over ties with US immigration agency as controversy grows over families torn apart at the border. Microsoft is demanded to take an ethical stand and put children and families above profits. More than 100 employees had joined the protest following a zero-tolerance policy that resulted in children being separated from their parents. The controversy surrounds $19.4 million contract with US Immigration and Customs Enforcement for the use of Microsoft Cloud computing software by the US Border Agency. They demand that Microsoft to cancel the contract with ICE immediately, including contract with clients who support ICE. They add that Microsoft should draft, publicize and enforce a clear policy stating that Microsoft nor its contractor will not work with clients who violate international human rights law. Microsoft replied by denying the claims and they are not involved in any projects in relating with the government on splitting up families.
Okay, that's all from us. Thank you for listening to our explanation about Microsoft. Okay, see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye!